I've got this prism that sits on my shelf, and I like the idea that the sun comes in and then it breaks out into the colors of the rainbow, your Roy G. Biv. Now, technically, I think it's refraction and not reflection. Refraction hasn't really caught on in the PBL world yet, or the vocabulary at least. But I like the idea that in the reflection phase, we're going to break out the different things that we did and start to reflect on those. Where did our learning happen? Wow, what were some things that you liked? What were some things you wonder about that we could do differently? Powerful questions that really help our learners move in voice and choice and being empowered. So we want to make sure we don't skip this reflection stage, either throughout our PBL unit, but also as the capstone. My name is Ryan Stoyer with Magnify Learning. I want to thank you for joining us on PBL Simplified, where we take your PBL need-to-knows, break them down so we can simplify the PBL process for your classroom. Our question of the day is, what is your go-to reflection activity? Mine is easily golden shining moments. At the end of a 3-day training, or we used to do it at the end of PBL units, we get a big whiteboard and we give everybody a marker and we say, what were the gold and shining moments, those best moments that you had during our time together? And we make it a chalk talk, so we're not talking to each other outside of whatever we write on the dry erase board. And then you can +1 things, you can star things, you can have an idea come off the side, and we get a lot of really great feedback and reflection that way. It's good for the participants to be thinking through all the time, your learners, what happened in this PBL unit? What was good? What wasn't so good, right? Put likes and wonders in there. And sometimes we get some silly comments about lunch being late or some silly thing that happened during a tuning protocol, but we also get deep moments where it's like, I used to think this, and now I think that, which is another great reflection activity. I used to think, but now I think. Really great reflection activity. There are so many that you can engage in. You've got to make sure you make this purposeful, though. Don't at the end of a PBL unit go, hey guys, what'd you like? Because you know the 2 or 3 learners that are going to speak and a whole bunch of them that you're never going to hear from. So find a couple of protocols that you're comfortable with. We use quite a few in our PBL training, so you might want to jump into a jump start, whether it's an open or an on-site where we come directly to your school and work with your staff. But find some of the protocols, I'll link them down in the description, that you can use on your reflection time. Because you want to have equity in those answers. You want to hear from your introverts as much as you hear from your extroverts. So step 6, the reflection phase, is the last step in our PBL process. And sure, reflection should be happening throughout. You want to be getting feedback from your learners. You start to build that voice and choice in the culture of your classroom as you ask, what did you like? What did you wonder about? What can we improve on? And then you take their suggestions and run with some of those and point it out. Hey guys, this time we're doing this activity earlier because you said you liked that. And your learners start to go, they're actually going to listen to me. I'm going to speak up more. I'm going to be more empowered. I'm going to ask good questions and give suggestions. And the empowerment starts to build. And once the culture takes over, it starts to move your learners along in ways that you can't on your own. The culture starts to do it. And that's when things get really, really exciting. In the description, we've got a blog as well on some reflection activities. This could be a place where you put in self-assessments, maybe you do some collaborative assessments. There are so many different ways to do this. I hope we fill up the comment section with different reflection activities so we can share these. But make it an intentional step. Some people will use this as a celebration time, and we go through and look at all the different wins that we had as a class running through this PBL unit. You might even bring a community partner back to talk about the impact that your learners have had on their organization. So we've been through the 6 steps of PBL at this point, and the process is really important. In fact, we've got a link we'll put in here. We've got some posters that you can put up in your room so that you know where you're at and where your learners are at, so that you guys can see, hey, we're here at the very beginning of this process. And sometimes in the middle, we can be like, where are we going? Oh, right, step 5, we're going to start implementing some of these things. That's when our presentation happens. And having visual reminders of that, and that it's a process and not just this messy thing where we can take any little trail we want, there are some parameters to our creative process, which again is super positive. So I hope this 6-step series, the 6 steps of PBL, has been really helpful to you to take an idea that might be new to you, and now you've got some handles on it. You can see where it begins and where it ends. And if you've enjoyed the PBL Simplified series, there's a lot of different ways that you can jump in. We'll even put a link down to some PBL web sessions. So if you've got some people you're trying to bring on board and you're like, I don't think they can go through 50 weeks of this to get caught up to me. I want them to get it caught up quicker so we can start running. Like, send them to those PBL web sessions and they can get that jump start that you've had, and they can catch up, and then you can collaborate and really move. Because you're going to want to bring more people in so they can engage their learners, they can tackle boredom, and they can transform their classroom with you.